Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another soccer game review. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the US women's national team taking on Australia. So, let's get right into it. Here is the starting lineup. Goalkeeper, Alyssa Nair. For defenders, we have Crystal Dunn, Tierna Davidson, Becky Sauerbrunn, and Kelly O'Hara. For midfield, we have Samantha Mewis, Julie Ertz, and Rose Lavelle. For forwards, Megan Pinot, Alex Morgan, Kristen Press. So, because I woke up at like 3:45, I was able to take some notes on the lineup. So yeah, pretty standard lineup by now. Same defenders. I am hoping that they can handle and shut down like Sam Kerr. For midfield, Sam Mewis, Julie Ertz, Rose Lavelle. This is good overall. Lindsay Horan gets a break, and with Julie Ertz, there will be more of a push upfield to get to Australia's goal. So I was kind of happy with that. I'm also wondering if we'll be seeing Kristie Mewis at some point. She has been pretty quiet so far in these games. And yeah, the forwards, Pinot, Alex Morgan, Kristen Press. Yep, that's fine. I did make a note that the US needs to be aggressive when taking on Australia. I have followed Australia. I have seen their recent friendlies. Well, not so much recent friendlies, but the friendlies they had earlier in the year. I would say that Australia has been improving, and their Australia's defense can be a pain if you don't press or push them. Even though Australia hasn't been winning their friendlies this year and has been having a rough year, this is still a team that has been developing a lot. Yeah, I wouldn't underestimate Australia at all, and it would be a big mistake if the US women's national team underestimated Australia. Alright, so we're in the first half. 2 minutes in, US needs to stop losing possession. And it's the same thing. The US needs to push and keep pressuring these teams. They need to keep pressuring Australia. Like, as I said in the Sweden game, if the US does not keep up the pressure, they can lose this game. Like, if they do not pressure Australia, they could lose this game. So 6 minutes in, free kick Australia. In that same time frame, Julie Ertz went down, but she's okay. Free kick for the US, and I don't know what moment it was, but I did write, geez, watch out for Sam Kerr. Alex Morgan makes a run and takes a shot, but goes to goalkeeper Tegan Micah. A little surprised to see Tegan Micah starting in this game instead of Lydia Williams. Like, I would normally prefer older goalkeepers with more experience, but Tegan Micah is an interesting choice. And then again, she has been in a lot of the Australia friendlies. US is by the Australia goal, but nothing comes from it. 11 minutes in, free kick Australia after a foul by Crystal Dunn, caught by Alyssa Nair. US needs to get US needs to get possession back. 13 minutes in, free kick Australia, really close. Nair does catch it though. US is close to Australia's goal now, but nothing comes from it. I did say the US needs to be patient with their passing, like they're losing possession through passing. Good block and save from Alyssa Nair, but yeah, the US needs to start clearing balls from the box a little bit better. I want to say Australia right now is just chilling by the US goal. 18 to 19 minutes in, Australia gets a corner kick, nothing comes from it, but just sloppy at clearing it, or sloppy at getting it out of the box. And I did say that the US needs to stop letting Australia dictate this game, or dictate the pace of this game. And Yeah, I even wrote that the US needs to interrupt Australia's passing. Like, Australia is just in, like, I don't want to say they're in control, but they do have control of the ball and they're controlling the pace because they're just casually passing it around. The US needs to run forward and just interrupt their passing. And the US didn't do enough of that in the Sweden game. And yeah, I kept screaming to put pressure on Australia. 25 minutes in, Australia by the US goal, nothing. And yeah, it's only 25 minutes. It's only 25 minutes and this game is already frustrating. Australia looks good, or Australia is looking really good. Like I said, I watched almost all of Australia's recent friendlies, and honestly, in this game, they're looking great. There is definitely some growth with this Australia team. There's an attempt by Sam Kerr. I think it was caught by Alyssa. 27 minutes, corner kick Australia. More sloppy clearing by the US. US's Kristen Press made a run, but nothing came from it. US corner kick. Alex Morgan goal with a Kelly O'Hara assist, but denied due to it being offsides. I did say the US can't give up. They had four or five offside goals in a row against New Zealand, but they just got to keep pressing and staying by Australia's goal. This isn't the time to play safe. 33 minutes in, Australia corner kick, nothing comes from it. Nair is able to get to it. Like, I even said if Australia scores at any time during this game, I'm still not going to blame Alyssa Nair at all. 36 minutes in, free kick Australia. Questionable foul. 37 minutes in, yellow card for Megan Pinot for pushing or elbowing Tegan Micah or one of the Australian defenders. Yeah, I want to say Australia's defense is strong and is a problem for the US. Like, I had a feeling that Australia's defense was going to be a problem for the US going into this game. Like, I want to say, like, compared to their past friendlies this year, Australia has improved so much. Yeah, the US needs to be more aggressive instead of just sitting back or holding back. 42 minutes in, attempt by Australia, but good save by Nair. 43 minutes, corner kick for Australia. Nothing comes from it except more sloppy clearances. 44 minutes, yeah, so close by Kristen Press. And thankfully the first half ends. And I'm going to have something to drink. Alright, overall, not a good or impressive first half by the US. Yeah, they haven't conceded any goals, but they did concede a lot of attempts and opportunities for Australia. I usually ignore the commentators, but Julie Foudy said something interesting that I had to jot down. She said, how many set pieces do you need to give up to the opposing team before they finally score? Australia had so many opportunities, and I won't be surprised if they do score in the second half at the rate that the US is going. Honestly, Australia looks like the better team so far, especially with the opportunities they had and made for themselves. And the fact that Australia had 60% possession compared to the US's 40%. The US needs to put more pressure on Australia. The US also needs to take control of this game. For the second half, I would like to see Carly Lloyd, Tobin Heath, Christy Mewis, maybe Emily Sonnet maybe those players will turn things around, but I really don't know. I would like to see more aggressive defending and overall more urgency, I like that word, and explosiveness from the US. Yeah, my throat is really dry. It could just be because it's still morning. All right, we're going into the second half now. So we're off. The US is picking up pace a little, but they need to stay on the ball and put pressure on Australia. They're actually playing with more urgency in the start of the second half, but don't get used to it. The pass accuracy could be better. 49 minutes in. Yeah, it's only like it's only like 4 minutes into the second half, and I honestly didn't want to watch any more of this. Like, small mistakes. Who is the US passing to? And I'm honestly, and I was thinking about this in the first half, like, I'm missing Jill Ellis's emphasis on getting the ball back as soon as they lose it. Like, I miss that. Jill Ellis was very aggressive with her plays. 51 minutes in, free kick Australia, nothing comes from it. Good attempt by Australia's Mary Fowler. 54 minutes in, good attempt by Kristen Press. 55 minutes in, corner kick Australia, nothing comes from it. Somewhat better clearance from the US. Stop losing the ball. Waiting for the US to pick up the pace because they still haven't. Free kick to the US after Australia handball, and nothing comes from it. Honestly, it's like the US just wants the 0-0 draw, as the commentator said. Australia substitution, Cooney Cross, God. 62 minutes in, shot by Rose Lavelle, easy save by Micah. Like, does Australia need to score in order for the US to pick up the pace? Like, what is going on? I was getting extremely frustrated in this game, as was probably everybody. This game was somehow more frustrating to watch than the game against Sweden. At least the Sweden game kept me on the edge of my seat and was more explosive. Mainly that was because of Sweden and not the US. 64 minutes in, US substitution. Lindsay Horan comes in for Sam Mewis. Tobin Heath in for Megan Pinot. Great, let's go. 67 minutes in, it looks like Carly Lloyd is getting ready. I kind of saw her off camera, or the camera kind of drifted over, and it showed her just stretching and getting ready. 68 minutes in, yellow card, Cooney Cross for aggressive tackle on Rose Lavelle. 69 minutes in, free kick US. Lindsay Horan's header goes wide. I would say that was really close too. Tobin Heath doing well at moving the ball up the field. 71 minutes in, Rose Lavelle gets a yellow card, which was kind of funny. but hey, finally some pressure on Australia. Like, I'm not really into players getting yellow cards, especially for aggressive tackles, but finally some aggressive play from the US. Honestly, though, the US does need to be careful with those yellow cards, though. 73 minutes in, Carly Lloyd and Lynn Williams come in for Alex Morgan and Kristen Press, respectively. Awesome, let's go, let's pick up the pace and get at least one goal. 75 minutes in, or we just let Australia control the pace of the game and pass the ball around. 78 minutes in, corner kick for the US, nothing comes from it. Not surprised at this point. 80 minutes in, I can't believe the US is wanting to just go for a draw. The US, is still going to go forward due to the goal differential, but I don't know. I did not like this game. It was honestly more frustrating than the game against Sweden. I mean, I said get the ball away from Sam Kerr if you're going for the draw. 86 minutes in, Sam Kerr is down, but she's okay. 86 to 87 minutes in, substitution, Christy Mewis comes in for Rose Lavelle. Great, I guess. The fact that Julie Foudy was frustrated by this game says something. And 90 minutes plus added time, 0-0 draw. The US goes forward to the quarterfinals. Alright, some final notes. Overall, this was the most frustrating game I watched so far. Probably one of the weakest performances by the US. I would even say that I prefer the game against Sweden. Yes, this game ended in a draw and the US goes forward to the quarterfinals, but this game was just so frustrating and annoying AF. The US wasn't pushing or putting any pressure on Australia. Australia honestly looked like the better team, especially when they had more possession at the end of this game. Or more possession for the whole game, I mean. They look like the better team despite the US being able to push and hold them back. Like, I had a feeling this game would end in a draw, but not like this. I thought it would be like a 1-1 draw. Um, I guess it's just part of Vlatko's strategy, but imagine playing this way against an attack-heavy team like the Netherlands or Sweden. They would bulldoze through this very easily, especially the Netherlands. The US honestly just needs to start playing more aggressively. The teams moving forward are not going to be easy teams to beat. Sweden, Brazil, the Netherlands, Great Britain, Canada. These teams will punish the US if they don't pick up the pace and start pushing or putting pressure on the opposing teams. Anyway, that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know what you thought about this game against Australia in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.